Hey everybody, John Woolworth here. This is my new video on a channel I've just started called Travel Worth Taking. I have another channel as well, but I decided to do this one to be more focused on traveling on a budget. Whether I'm traveling for leisure or otherwise, I'm always on a budget. Some of the best places to visit on Earth don't need to break the bank. I get to travel to some truly varied places from the Caribbean to Central Asia. So the point of this channel is to tell you about the places I go, then break down what it cost me to go. Then finally I decide based on the cost and what we got to do, whether it was worth going or not. So with that, the first video I'm doing is about going on a Caribbean cruise aboard the MSC Meraviglia. This video will be mostly about the experience on the ship itself and not as much about each place we stopped. I'll do a separate video about those places. We sailed out of Port Canaveral, Florida on January 8th, 2023. Now the thing to know about going on a cruise is that the price is based entirely on when you go. The cheapest weeks of the year are generally going to be early December and then after New Year through the month of February when there are no holidays and the kids are still in school. It can make a difference of 3 to 4 times the price depending on whether you go on a peak week or not. Our cruise left port on January 8th and went through the 15th. We had 4 stops: Nassau, Bahamas, Ocean Key, Bahamas, which is the cruise line's private island, then on to Costa Maya, Mexico, and finally Cozumel, Mexico. I'll probably do a shorter video about each of those individual places because some of them are definitely better than others. Since we live in South Carolina, we drove down to Florida early in the morning of the cruise. We parked our car at a long-term lot a few miles from the port and took a free shuttle to the ship. I would say once we were at the port, check-in and embarkation took about an hour and a half, which wasn't great, but it was the port itself which was busy and not the fault of the cruise line itself. I'm going to give a little bit of a ship tour. We entered the main atrium, which was gorgeous, and we booked a balcony room for my wife and me and an interior room for our 2 daughters. I'll also give a tour of these as well. Now on deck 5, they've got the guest services and they've got this big atrium here. And stairways with really sparkly stairs. I guess these are made with Swarovski crystal, and I'm told they're $10,000 a piece. I wouldn't personally choose that, but they're really sparkly, that's for sure. And they got piano in the middle there, which I've seen them playing that on a couple occasions now. Very sparkly, that is for sure. Lots of shops all over the place. Then, this is the coolest part of the ship. I have never seen anything like this on a cruise ship before. This is in the center of the ship on deck 5, actually 5 through 6. And that whole ceiling is basically a giant TV, and they change what it looks like all the time. So it might be it might be the Sistine Chapel, or it might be almost anything here, but right now it's all leaves. And throughout here is all shops and bars and specialty restaurants. You pay extra for the restaurants and the bars. It's not part of the ticket you pay for. But if you want something different, then this is the place to go. And you got your excursions desk here. And we will be stopping by here later because you can get gelato, and I know my daughter really wants some of this. Ooh, that's got coffee beans on it. I'll have to stop by and get some of that. Over here is one of the coolest things ever. They've got a chocolate shop, and they've got all this artwork made out of chocolate up here. All of this is chocolate. How cool is that? Then they've got an area here where they do live music a lot of times. Nothing going on right now, but that's okay because I need to be able to use the mic right now. Then up here is the theater where they have shows going on almost every night, and the shows actually are really, really good. Really top notch. We've seen 2 different dance shows so far. The band and the dancers are really, really tight. I'm impressed, honestly. I guess they have some kind of a Master Chef thing going on here right now, but I'll just show you what the theater looks like anyway. It's not as big as some of the theaters I've seen in other cruise ships, but there's actually 2 different theaters on this ship, so this is where most of the shows happen though. And again, back here is the spa, which I'm not into that kind of stuff, but for those of you who are, there it is. And here's one of the bars in here. They have bars all over the ship, so they're having trivia in here, it looks like. And up on deck 6, they've got some pubs, again, some restaurants. This is a British style pub. And you go a little farther down and there is a sushi restaurant. Again, this is one of the specialty restaurants you pay extra for. The prices aren't outrageous that I've seen so far. And across the way there's another specialty restaurant called the Butcher's Cut, which is a steak restaurant. Got various lounges in here. There's so many different places you can go and sit. If you really want to be away from people, there are places to go. It's not like you're always surrounded by people. As there is on pretty much every cruise ship, there's a casino in here. It is a smoking area. This is not my thing, but I know for some people it is. There's a bar in the middle. Lots and lots of games. Lots of people losing their money. Oh, okay, here's the other theater, but I guess there's they're practicing right now, so you can't go in there. There's a couple of different restaurants on the ship. You're going to be assigned to one or the other if you want to do a formal dinner, as opposed to just going to the buffet. This is the Dioro restaurant. I'm not thrilled with this one because it looks like everybody is watching you in a fishbowl while you eat. This is not the one we were assigned to. The one we were assigned to is the Panorama restaurant, which is just a little bit farther down. And that one has windows overlooking the water, which is really neat. It is really noisy though. We ate there last night. The food was really good, but it was really noisy in there. Nothing going on right now because it's not mealtime, but the whole ship really is classy and clean. Really beautiful ship. Then on deck 18, there's a big basketball and soccer area, football for you Europeans. It's all interior, so you can do while it rains. Overlooks the ocean, which is really cool. They have a pretty nice gym in this ship. It's not huge by the standards I've seen before, but what they have is pretty nice. They actually have free weights, which for me is a big deal. Usually it's just machines, so. Yeah, they got some pretty nice equipment here. And you get to overlook the pool and people eating when you're in here. There's stuff for teens and kids. Ironically, right next to the bar, but the teens area's got foosball tables and all kinds of stuff. Got some Lego sculptures here.
Ella, wave to the camera. Ella, wave to your friend. Wave to your friend.
Hey there. The kids area is actually pretty extensive here. They got an arcade. Actually, they have a couple of arcades.
So we gotta make sure we check
Got foosball tables and video games. And then you get down to the back end of deck, I think I'm 16 now. They don't have a deck 17 on this ship because I guess 17 is unlucky in Italian and this is an Italian cruise line. So they have a deck 13 but no deck 17. There's also a bowling alley here. And over here there's an F1 simulator. And there's also a flight simulator over here, which is pretty cool, but I haven't seen it used a lot. I know it's pretty expensive to use. It's like $15 for 5 minutes, $15 for 5 minutes. Going through the main buffet area. This back room, we always go into this back room here because nobody ever seems to find it. It's got a great view of the ocean. But as far as going into the actual buffet area here, they always have a pretty good spread. This is an Italian cruise line, so they tend to do especially the pizza really well. The pasta is usually really good. They have a good selection of seafood normally because, you know, it's an Italian thing. And we're at breakfast right now, but there's normally a good selection of breads, pizza. There's usually some curries. There's a rotisserie where they got different meats. Breakfast is a good spread too. Lots of breads, lots of rolls, things like that. They have hot breakfast as well. But as far as the dinner goes, most of it's been really, really good. Every once in a while there'll be something that you get and they're like, I don't think they knew how to make that. But for the most part, everything has been really, really good. The desserts are great, and there's always a good choice of things. Even if you're vegan or vegetarian, there's always good choices for that too. But again, my overall impression is that they don't have as big a spread as like Carnival does, but the food is really good, and I will say it's really fresh. Like all the vegetables and everything I wish I could get vegetables that fresh at my local grocery store. I don't know what they have going on, but yeah, it's always been super fresh. And then it goes back out to one of the pool areas here, where you can also get ice cream, although it's early in the morning so it's not open right now, but there's ice cream and fries and burgers. I will say the burgers are not great here. So if your kids are totally into burgers, this is not the one to be on all the time, but all the other food has been good. So back here is the adults only area. There's a pool and a lot of lawn chairs, and you can watch where the ship is leaving from. There's the wake of the ship. And right now we are in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to be at sea all day today. There's a nice pool back here. And then there is a walking and running track. It's 2/10 of a mile long, so 5 times around is a mile. I'm up on the next to the top deck right now, and one of the things I appreciate about this ship is that there are hot tubs all over the place. It's not like they just have a couple. They're always packed with kids. So you can come up here. This one's pretty full right now, but and then back to the adults area. If you go up another deck, if you've got kids, this is where they're going to be hanging out the whole time. There is a ropes course up here, and then over here you've got the water slides, and I'm going to have to do this later. Looks like a lot of fun. This one goes right over the edge of the ocean. That's going to be interesting. There's a play area for kids in the water park. There's a better view of the ropes course. My daughter will be on here later. I'm sure she's going to spend all day on there. Pretty amazing that they have this on a ship. There's a kids pool here. Then they've got a smaller pool area that's actually covered. It's got a retractable ceiling, which is really neat. They got some just random foosball tables in the pool area. They've got the ceiling open right now, which is really neat, but this closes up when it's raining. And you got the pool area down there. with hot tubs. And overlooking the middle pool area again. They're doing like a dance party or something like that, or I don't even know what they're doing, but. So coming in the front door here, you've got, it must be a king size bed. It's a big bed. And it's actually two smaller ones that you can have separated if you are not husband and wife or whatever. But good sized bed. It's a little hard, but it's comfortable. And they do give you a choice of a couple of different types of pillows, and you just go with the one you want. And then if we come over to the left here, there are closets, which we have used this time since it's a week-long cruise. If I open that up, we've got shelves and a couple of drawers there. And there is also a safe, which I'm keeping my pajamas in right now, but because I don't need to, use the safe at all. I'll put my pajamas right back in there. And then the other side, we've got a place to hang your clothing from, hangers. And, well, I won't show you our dirty clothes pile at the bottom. We just kind of threw them in the bottom. And then you've got lamps over the bed here, including a reading lamp. A small table where you can keep books and things like that. Pretty decent amount of space. It's not a huge room, but as far as cruise ship rooms go, it's pretty good. And then you've got at least we have a couch here. I'm not sure if all of them have this or if they reverse it maybe. We're in room 9232, if that tells you anything. And this is one of the balcony rooms that is in the overhang of the deck of the ship, so it actually doesn't get rained on here. But the downside to that is we don't look straight down to the ocean, if that's the kind of thing you like. And then we've got a desk here, nice desk, television. Not a lot of channels, I will say that. You got Discovery and HGTV and a few other things, but it's kind of hard to find things to watch sometimes at night if there's nothing else going on. And then got a pull-out seat here for just sitting in front of the mirror. There I am. And then you've got a drawer here, which is a little interesting because inside the drawer, that is where the hairdryer is. It does not remove, so you have to dry your hair at the desk here if that's what you want to do. And then there's a mini bar. Not something I'm personally interested in, but mini bar nonetheless. And then, of course, there is the thing that you get a balcony room for, and that is the balcony. And today we're currently overlooking Cozumel, which is not a bad place to be. I'm on deck 9, so I actually see the top of the lifeboats. If I was to do this again, I'd probably go a little bit higher, maybe deck 10 or 11, so I don't see that. But nevertheless, we have an unobstructed view. And that view is just gorgeous. And it's nice on sea days because you can just sit out here with your coffee and watch the ocean go by. Got a couple of chairs out here and a small wicker table to put your coffee on. And then coming back in, now I did notice that that there's not a lot of noise that comes in from the door here, which is a really nice thing. And then we go to the bathroom here. It's actually a pretty decent sized bathroom for a cruise ship, I will say that. So you've got a sink. Sink is okay size. You've got a toilet right there. And then there's actually a pretty decent shower in here. As far as cruise ships goes, I would say this is one of the better showers I've had. It's a little bit bigger than some of the ones I've had, and it's an actual glass door. It's not just a curtain. I hate the curtains because the water ends up always getting everywhere. My two big gripes with this room and with this cruise, honestly, is that the towels are really not that soft, and the toilet paper is like the cheapest toilet paper money can buy. I'm a cheap person, but the toilet paper that they got is really, really, really cheap. So that's my gripe. But other than that, it's a great room. The temperature is really easy to adjust, up or down. You can turn heat on, air conditioning on, it doesn't matter. You've got the choice of that. And got a mirror here. There I am again. There is also a porch light, which I didn't discover until the last day we were on the cruise. Not that that matters, because I wouldn't want the porch light on anyway. It's just kind of nice to watch the ocean go by in the dark if it's at nighttime. But it's there. Also, there are a couple of European plugs, and there's a USB plug in here. I think the wattage is kind of low because it took a while to charge anything. And then there are 2 United States plugs as well. And then in the bathroom there's a universal one, I guess for shavers and whatever else. But that is pretty much the extent of the plugs in this room. So it is kind of lacking in plugs. There is not a USB or a regular plug by the bed, just the lights. And a little bit of artwork on the walls. It's really, it's done really well. It's a classy room. They keep it clean. They actually come in twice a day and clean it. And it's been enjoyable. It's been a nice room. On to the interior room. All right, doing the tour of the interior room on the MSC Meraviglia. It's not at all the same as the balcony rooms. It is a very spacious room, actually. There's 2 double beds. You can slide them together to make one king, I guess it is, queen or king. Good sized bed. There's a lot of floor space here. I mean, you could do yoga here if you wanted to. I don't know why they leave so much space here. Honestly, they could have put a couch against this wall and there would have been room. I'm not sure why they didn't. But, I mean, just a really spacious interior room. Again, 2 beds. There's a lamp and a reading lamp over each one. You can shut them off there. Switches. And then there's a couple of small end tables where you can keep books and stuff like that. Again, artwork on the wall, telephone, and desks similar to the ones in the balcony rooms, just probably a little bit smaller. And then the hair dryer's in the drawer there too. Got a mirror, got a television, and closets. Doors open differently. One's in the other kind of cabin slide. This one just opens up. Again, there's a safe there. Television, and again, it's same as the other room where you've got a few different channels, but the choices are pretty limited on what you can watch unless you're going to buy like pay-per-view movies or something like that. There's only about five or six different channels. Other than the pay-per-view stuff, and they seem to play the same stuff over and over again. So not great there, but you have a TV nonetheless. And then you've got the same bathroom. This one's just in reverse of the one in the balcony room. So nice sized bathroom, glass door on the shower, which is great. Hot and cold running water, of course, you need that. And everything else is the same. And sorry it looks a little bit lived in, but it is lived in. My daughters are here. They do not give you a sloth for your bed. That was a personal choice. But other than that, that is the interior room on the MSC Meraviglia. Pretty nice room, can't complain. And that concludes our tour of the interior rooms on this ship, on the MSC Meraviglia. Alright, and now on to the cost of the trip. I'll go through the itemized costs and then tell you whether in my opinion this trip was worth it based on what we got for the money and whether I would do it again. For this illustration, I'm including the cost of the cruise and affiliated costs. I'm not including the cost of excursions or things we bought on shore. Included in the cruise fare was our room, food from either the main dining room or the buffet, juice, water, tea, or coffee from the buffet, the shows, the gym, track, pool, etc. The cost of all these things was $1,120.40 for myself and my wife for our balcony room. The cost of the interior room for our daughters was $923.20. Additionally, there were gratuities of $14.50 per person per night, which came to $464 total. These go not only to your room steward, but all of the hospitality staff. We also bought a few drinks that were not included, some gelato. We purchased a few small items in the ship's store, and all of these items came to $102.94. We paid for 8 days of parking at a long-term lot, which came to $82.62 plus a tip to the driver for our shuttle. Lastly, we had a round-trip drive of 680 miles, At 35 miles to the gallon and an average cost per gallon of gas at the time of $3.45, that came to $67. So the total cost, including everything except excursions, came to $2,760.16, which breaks down to $345.02 per night, or $86.26 per person per night for 4 people. Now the big question, was it worth it and would I do it again? Well, absolutely, and yes, I would do it again. In fact, my wife and I just booked another MSC cruise, going to similar ports for our anniversary. You can't stay in a decent hotel for $86 a day per person, much less get food, transportation to Mexico, shows, pools, soft serve ice cream, etc. It's possibly the cheapest way to see a foreign country and definitely the most comfortable way to get there. I see a lot of complaints about cruises on forums, and I have to say most of these complaints are about some truly first world problems. I've been on a number of cruises at this point, and I can say that your attitude truly has everything to do with whether you have a good time or not, and that just doesn't go for cruises, that goes for life in general. Having said that, it's pretty hard not to have a good time on a cruise, and the MSC Meraviglia was no different. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and like this video. As I said, this is a new channel for me, so subscribing would truly help me to get it going with some new content. If you have suggestions for how to make this better, tell me in the comments. I'll be putting up new content as I go through from trip footage I have, as well as new trips. And we'll be doing everything from Cumberland Island all the way to Kyrgyzstan. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.